Okay, in this arrived yesterday. It's the Polish Star Wars book. It's called Far, Far Away, Second Generation. It's by Jakub Burzinkski. It's a guide to unlicensed vintage Star Wars figures. It's quite not such a big book as, like, say, the PvP book. It's very nice though. It's got a sort of rubberish feel to the cover. Great image there. Very rare Princess Leia. Second generation. I backed this on Kickstarter, VHS Hell. You might be able to get a copy on Facebook if you get in contact with the author. So this is an update of the first volume, which I never acquired. But this is great. It says, to the blacked out Ewoks, Jakub Burzinkski. So, second generation Warsaw 2022. Like, it tells you how the book's set out. It sort of starts with a brief history of the figures. You know, what it was like in Poland in the 1980s, early 90s, all that sort of stuff. It's divided into sort of Kenner-shaped series. Series 1 articulated Chewbacca, Series 2 articulated original set, 3 first set unarticulated, 4th articulated carded set, 5 that's the Snowtrooper, I can't pronounce that, 6 the articulated, the 88, 7 Deluxe Set, which is the Yoda, the Gammarian Guard Rees and Attack Driver, and Series 8 unarticulated second set. Tables of colours, Comic Spain's R2 and C3PO, printed cape sets, other Polish figures that would be of interest, not much, but quite interesting. I mean, it's got great artwork. It's just a really good book. Let's see if I can get this a bit higher. So this is how it's set out. So you've got, well, like he says, it's very rare to find a carded figure. I mean, they're incredibly rare. So we're really going to talk about the loose figures and all the variety they come in and all that sort of stuff. I mean, he opens about, you know, history of Poland in the 1980s and all that sort of stuff. You know, it's quite interesting, all that sort of stuff, you know, perspective from the Eastern Curtain, while we had it all in the UK, US and Canada and all those places, you know. I mean, this is quite interesting. You've got all the different bootlegs, the major bootlegs. You've got the Mexican, you've got the Brazilian, Turkish, Hungary and Polish. So quite interesting. I mean, I guess what he's going to say is that the Polish figures haven't really had the sort of appreciation in terms of like the Hungarian or the Brazilian or, you know, model trem or stuff like that, or whatever. I'm just waffling now. Then a bit about the history of films in Poland, great Polish posters. I mean, obviously there's very little photography of kids with the figures back in the day. It's nice to see. And some more stuff, what was available in Poland, which wasn't much. Then great shot of all the different figures you can get. It's giving examples of the different figures. So mainly from the sort of mid-80s, maybe even earlier, to the 94, 95. And you've got lots of shots of figures. Brilliant, this stuff. So you've got, on this side you've got the Kenner, and on this side you've got the Polish. So it's nice to see them sort of mirrored. I mean, what's great about the Polish figures is all the colours you can get them in, like all these reds, pinks, any colour you can imagine. It's like, you know, if you took Star Wars in 1977 and mixed it with a what's a great psychedelic movie, The Trip or The Monkey's Head, and This is the result. Psychedelic Star Wars figures. So yeah, I've got a few. I haven't got many. I mean, I would like to get more. Obviously, they've gone up in price, started to jump up in price actually. I mean, this book's not going to help because, you know, this book sort of gives you that sort of appetite to acquire more. I mean, this is quite important, this bit here. So this is the sort of rarity scale. So on the greenish band, which you're going to see these on both figures. So you want the lowest, you want just one bar to show it's particularly rare, and then on the value you want the complete opposite. You want all 5 to show how valuable it is. And obviously you can say it's not about the money and all that sort of stuff, but you're gonna want something that's A, very rare, incredibly rare with very few known examples, and B, it's worth a arm and a leg. Talking about arms and legs, they only used in the later series, as you'll see, the AT-AT, the TIE Fighter pilot arms and legs, or the Biker Scout arm and legs. So we start with this Chewbacca articulated figure. So we may assume it came out in the scene from 79 to 80. So we're you know, and the production may have ended at the time of the beginning of the first unarticulated series in 1984. So this is, you see that you've got just the 1 light green bar and then the 5 pink. So that means it's incredibly scarce and very expensive. So, you know, it's a sort of grail piece in the realm of Polish bootleg collecting. So that's what you want to see. I mean, a lot of the time you'll see them at parity or like 3.3 or whatever. But, you know, it's just, you know. But I'm sure this is an incredibly rare figure, the Chewbacca. They even moulded the bowcaster. Then we come to Series 2 Articulated Original Set, a set of 4 movable rubber-bagged figures with accessories. Years of production, 1980-84. So this book is beautifully researched and the knowledge given is brilliant. I mean, if you touch the print, you can actually feel the print. So it's quality printing, great images used, very colour throughout. So I've got these 4 figures here. The orange sand person looks great, the Han, the Princess Leia, and the Obi-Wan. The first real set of Star Wars figures made in Poland. Then you've got all the different attributes of these figures, how they were sold on cards with bags. Brilliant. I mean, these bagged figures are mock-ups. It's just like how they would have looked at the time, a long time ago. And then he goes on to the actual details of the figures and all that sort of stuff. The Princess Leia, Obi-Wan, the Han, and the sand person. Some paint variants with the sand person. It's great in orange. What's interesting about the sand person is one of the cheat tubes is hollow and the other is rounded. So how did that come about? This is Series 3 Unarticulated First Set, 1984 to 1990. Set of 17 non-movable rubber loose figures with accessories. So it's got shown around here with the Kenner equivalents. Brilliant. See some amazing colours there. So it gives rough estimates of what numbers there are believed to be out there in collectors' hands. You know, there's just so much information in this book. This book's a work of love, you know, a passion. You've got 15 years of collecting experience there. It's just so great. Just so much useful information. With colour variations of the figures, paint details like Darth Vader's chest, the paint details there, head paint. It's just so much information. Then look, the Luke Farm Boys, you can get all the different colours, the Princess Leia in red, or other colours, pinks, black, almost a golden colour there, not quite gold, yellow. Chewbacca, looks like he's got a vinyl cape, so he's going to Life Day celebrations. So it's a really great resource, this book. All the Darth Vaders. I mean, he does, like, for certain, amongst about 230 examples are known, all the colour variations and stuff like that. Each figure's given, like, in terms of rarity and value. So this would say it's quite common and the value's not too high. I mean, obviously nowadays they're going to be a lot more expensive. The Stormtrooper, I mean, I do think I've got the Stormtrooper in gold. The golden Stormtrooper. Yeah, most are silver. I should have picked up the silver Stormtrooper. I mean, obviously with these sort of figures, the paint, that's the one I've got, the gold Stormtrooper. So he's not so rare. I mean, you're talking about a 1 or 2 for the greenish, and value rise in sort of mid-range. But that's the one I've got, the Stormtrooper. That's probably the earliest figure I've got. Other figures we got Obi-Wan's, Han's. Look at the colour variety of Han Solo, the original big head. Lots of different colours. So if you look at this Han here in the sort of green and brown get-up, he's quite highly sought, very rare. As is this one with the pink. Not quite as valuable as that one though. But it's all nice to see all the colour variety. Then we've got the sand person again. This is the non-articulated or unarticulated version. I have seen these maybe 5-6 years ago on eBay. I just didn't go for it. Silly, what a silly sausage. IG-88, that's a great figure there. Great mould. So these figures don't move, they don't have arms and legs that move. Attack Commando, he's quite a common one. Definitely seen him up for sale. Like Action Figure Grader would say, the best place to find these figures now is on Facebook, but you can still probably get a few on eBay. But the days, I mean, look at these colours here, they're quite psychedelic. Look great, really. I mean, you've got just this whole double spread of attack commanders, all in bizarre colours, pinks, blues, bright yellows. It's just amazing. Chief Chirper, I think he's quite a rare one as well. Low grade Ewok Medicine Man, the Rebel Commando. I mean, you've got some that look quite conventional, like their Kenner equivalents, whereas others look quite out there, quite woke, I guess you'd say, or brilliant. Very red Barada. Now on to Series 4 Articulated Carded Set. These are probably the most famous ones. So, you know, years of production 85 to 2003. So these are sort of cards they came on. Look great. I've got a few of these. They've even got pictures of the moulds they were moulded in. It's mainly the head and torso that are different. They tended to use the same arms and legs from the Biker Scout TIE Fighter pilot. Yeah. But it's nice to see all of this sort of stuff, you know, in a single volume. The weapons they made, very colourful. I mean, with finding these figures, you often find, or most of the time you find them without weapons. There's the mould for the weapons there. Then we come on to articulated carded set. Princess Leia there. All very interesting. Stormtrooper, Luke X-Wing. Definitely seemed that had a chance to, not that I acquired it, but could have, should have, but I didn't. Boba Fett, probably the most, just because of who the character is, the most popular. So it's saying over 60 from the first generation and 120 from the later generations. So Boba Fett's just, you know, a law unto himself. These will sell for high prices just because of the figure. Got Boba Fett in the mould there. Imperial Stormtrooper Hoth Battle Gear. I do have one of these. Silver. I think the Darth Vader was the first one I got, but the second one I ever got was the Hoth Rebel Soldier. I'd say it was this one, which, according to this, is very common, not very valuable. But that's the second one I ever got, was the Hoth Rebel Soldier. The Han Hoth. I did have this one. Haven't got it anymore. So I'd like to get another Han Hoth eventually. This one I do have a lot of the ATAT driver. I have 3 of these. So I might have a first or one of these too. I mean, the book's useful. I need to have the figures in hand and look at them and that sort of stuff. Then, I mean, this one's quite a common figure, but still I got 3 of these from a guy whose photography is featured in the book. I think I got this one as well and one of these ones. So maybe I should focus on getting some more, or, you know. These are great figures. Attack Commander. Fairly common. Zuckuss, this is the gold one. This is one that I really want to get. I've seen him quite often on eBay, so it's definitely gone up, but I think that gold Zuckuss looks amazing. Brilliant. So why would you get this book? You'd get it if you collect these figures, if you're thinking about collecting these figures, if you like the late 60s, if you could remember the late 60s. Obviously I wasn't born then, but you know, if you like the idea of collecting something that was bootlegged, so it's not official, it's produced in a dark time for Poland, when Poland was living under the shackles of communism, which was all about controlling people and making people's lives miserable. This one I've got the ATST driver, that grey one. Barada. So, you know, this is a book that you'd want to get if you're thinking about branching out into collecting bootlegs, or if you just have a passing interest in toy history and collectibles, and, you know, this is a carded example. This is series 5. This is the Snowtrooper. So that's quite a good sculpt they did with that one. You can get it in black and red as well. So even though you can get it in a quite conventional colour, you can get it in quite an amazing colour. I mean, I think that would give the Uze Blue Stars a run for the money. There's the only carded example known. Very rare. The weapons. So that's the Polish one there. A lot more rough in sculpt. Then this 88. which is quite a nice looking figure. It seems that they turned the hands 90 degrees on the Polish mould, but they did a really good job with this figure. Deluxe Set, these are quite famous, the deluxe figures. So there's quite a lot of information on these. Look at this 60s flashback. Brilliant. So these are very highly sought figures. Look at the colours, man. Hey man, look at the colours. Yoda, man, that's a really psychedelic Yoda figure. I think Action Figure Grader's got one of these Yodas. Hey John, you got one of these figures? Then the Gammarian Guard. Brilliant. There's great sculpts of these figures as well. Look at the moulding. Brilliant. So who wouldn't want one of these figures to sit proudly on their mantle, you know? Amazing colours. These are, in a way, works. They are totally works of art, you know. They're produced in difficult circumstances. I don't know if it was illegal, but you know, it was in difficult, trying circumstances, and they, you know, some figures look quite, you know, like the actual Kenner equivalent, whereas others, they've just let their imaginations run wild, really. It's just rather amazing. Let me show this. Reuse green face, red eyes. That would be when it's something you'd have a bad trip about. Then you've got all these unarticulated second set. All the details, it goes into all the details like mould differences. Yeah, I've seen quite a few of these Luke X-Wings on eBay as well. Yeah. Brilliant. All these Boba Fetts. Amazing. More Boba Fetts. Snow Trooper, Hoth Rebel Trooper. More Hoth Rebel Troopers. Biker Scout. Prune Face. Lando Pilot. Definitely had this on eBay. Sometimes from Polish sellers, other times seller in Ireland had a few. So putting the figures together in colour. Yeah, I'll just show you this. I think it's quite interesting. So table of colours. So you've got all the reds. So for all your Man United, Liverpool fans, all your blacks, pretty nice. Your blues, Chelsea, obviously. The browns and golds. Your yellows, Ipswich. The silvers, the greys, the greens. Pinks and purples, and your ivories and bone and silvers, quite nice. Other series, so Series 9 Comet Spain set. There's the R2-D2, which is a copy of the Spanish figure. The C-3PO copy of the Spanish figure as well. Also, Disney used the same figures. Printed cape sets. Non-Star Wars toys, so he shows stuff like the Smurfs, some Polish characters, the Muppets, Gremlins, He-Man, I have the power, He-Man again, Action Force, Star Wars figures with G.I. Joe limbs. So this book's just so great. And then when you get to the back of the page, there's quite a few people I know like Jeffrey T. Colton, he's quite a famous Star Wars book writer. Who else do I know? Lee Mitchell, he's got a few of his pictures in here as well, so he's someone, friend of action figure graders. Myself. Obviously I'm in the list as well, so is action figure grader, so is Andrew Lemire, Lee Mitchell obviously, David Stevens, oh he's in it, Salacious Rum. So Salacious Rum did an interview with him and I helped with some questions for him. So, and here is the author. And then the disclaimer, blah, 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 blah. So, brilliant book. Highly recommend this if you can still get it. Far, far away. It's not too big. It's very lovingly put together. Beautiful item. Definitive. Well researched. You know, well presented. As you can see, great images used throughout. Always like this sort of rarity factor thing and all that sort of stuff. And it's good to know the value as well, like if your figure that you're after is going to cost you an arm and a leg. So yeah, brilliant book. Yeah, highly recommend this. So if you go to Facebook, contact the author, you might be able to still get a copy. I'm sure he's got a few left. Brilliant book, glad I backed it. It's called Far, Far Away, a guide to unlicensed vintage Polish Star Wars figures, 2nd generation. With that, all we have to do is say, as we always do, cheers, goodbye. Bye.